Hi there, it's Michele Purvis here from More Money Business Solutions. So for today's topic of communication, I thought I'd just share with you a couple of tools that I use in my business. I use it with my clients to help them in their businesses, and you may be able to apply it in your business or your work life. So hopefully you'll find it helpful. I'm just going to share my screen with you here now. So as I said, today's topic is communication. So the first tool I'm going to have a look at is DISC profiling. So DISC profiling is answering a set of questions, fairly extensive set of questions, which are designed to enable to assess what your personality traits and behavioural traits are like. So within the DISC profiling, there's four main quadrants. The first one is dominance. So somebody that is high in a D in the DISC profiling system would be direct, results-orientated, firm, strong-willed, and forceful. And then we move across to the I, and the I is for influence. So this person is going to be the life of the party. They're outgoing, enthusiastic, optimistic, high-spirited, and lively, and they like everybody to like them. And then we move down to the S's. So S's is for steadiness. So this is someone that's more even-tempered, accommodating, patient, humble, and tactful. And then we move across to the C, which is for conscientious or compliant. You might see it called sometimes. And this is for somebody that's more analytical, more reserved, more precise, more private, and more systematic. So everyone is a little bit of a combination of all of these things, and some of us will rank more highly in some areas than others. So in understanding how this applies to you, you can also then apply it to other people that you're dealing with. So that's the objective today, is to give you just a bit of an overview of how it works and how you can potentially take this and look at people that you're interacting with and how you can better communicate with them. So as I said, there's the four quadrants. So I'm just going to put it into some sort of perspective here by looking at some people that are very typical of a certain DISC profiles. So the first one, dominance. So we've got the lovely Donald Trump there. So when it comes to team, he's going to be the one to initiate activity. At work, he loves a challenge and an opportunity. And at best, he's a driver of result. At worst, they can become over demanding. So the traits there again are competitive, decisive, direct, persistence, and a self-starter. So other examples of this personality trait, high levels of this personality trait, Michael Jordan, Margaret Thatcher, Russell Crowe, and Tywin Bannister from Game of Thrones is pretty typical there. So if we move across to the second one, which is the I for influence. So in a team, it'll be someone that's motivating others. They like to be a team player and life of the party. So in work, they don't like to be controlled, so they like freedom from control and detail. At best, a creative problem solver. At worst, all promise and no deliver. They like to keep everybody happy. So they're inspiring, motivating, optimistic, persuasive, and trusting. So other examples of this is Jay Leno, Will Smith, Oprah, Robin Williams, and Peter Baratheon from Game of Thrones. So our third quadrant is the steadiness quadrant. So we've got there Lady Di, so the lovely Lady Di. And so when we look at that, when working in a team, they're going to be dependable and supportive. At work, they don't like a lot of conflict and they like everything to be fairly stable. At best, they will get things done. At worst, they'll procrastinate because S's like everything to be perfect before they start something. So if you've ever had a situation where you think, why doesn't someone just get on and do it? It may be because they're waiting for everything to be perfect before they do that. So the traits of S personality type is amiable, warm, friendly, patient, and relaxed. So other examples of that are Michelle Obama, Mahatma Gandhi, Mother Teresa, Nicole Kidman, and Ned Stark from Game of Thrones. So the last quadrant is the compliance or conscientious quadrant. So they're in a team, they're the problem solver. They're the ones that are going to think and get the problem resolved. They like to be work technical or specialised. So a lot of engineers and so forth will have high traits of the compliance personality. At best, they set really high standards. At worst, they can be overcritical and a perfectionist. So the traits that come through are they like to be accurate, analytical, a fact finder, precise, and they're quite mature. So other examples are Einstein, Kevin Costner, Vijay Singh, and Peter Baelish from Game of Thrones. So how do you then apply that into your everyday work and business life? So I've got a bit of a matrix here. So when we look across here, we've got our D, our I, our S, and our C. So our Ds are generally influenced by what is successful. So when you're talking to someone, they like to have an element of success in there. I's, who like to be popular, get easily distracted, as do the D's, and the S's are more safe, and the C's always like to be right. So when if you're dealing with a D, they'll only act if they respect you. If you're dealing with an I, they'll only act if they like you. And an S, they'll only act if they trust you, and C, if they believe you. So C's often get a little bit untrustworthy of I's that like to talk about themselves all the time. So if you're recognising that you're dealing with somebody in one of these particular personality traits, maybe you just need to dial down or dial up the way that you're talking to them at present. So this is a really cool little matrix because it just goes through. So if we take an I, for example, they'll only act if they like you. Need to be careful because they'll try and distract you because they like to be quite social, and you'll need to stop them from being a populist. And in confrontational situations, they'll try and distract you. Whereas if we come over to the C's, they'll only act, as I said, if they believe you. Be careful because they will complicate things, and you'll need to stop them from being a perfectionist. And when we look at actually follow through with the different personality types, a D's will be very quick to start something, but if you look down the list here, under pressure, they'll start a lot and finish a little. And the same with the I's. They're very quick to start things, they'll overpromise and underdeliver. And your S's will make a start, will find a store because it's not perfect. And then your C's starts doing prop and stays doing prop. So your C's are the people that actually get things done. So if you then think about that in terms of your customers, so it's a bit of a cheat sheet here to use how you can utilise DISC in assessing how you operate in a sales environment. So D's are easily influenced by being first. So if you're a very successful person, then you'll probably do very well talking to a D. And with an I, they like to be influenced by somebody who's being fun. S likes to be friends, and the C, they just want to know the facts. When you're dealing with a D, you want to dial down the casualness, but you want to dial it up when you're dealing with an I personality. When we're talking about how fast we're talking, D's and I's like a quite fast pace, whereas your S's and your C's are much slower paced. And when it comes to the detail, and when you're trying to explain something to them, the D's and the I's don't want the facts, they just want to know what the outcome's going to be, whereas your I's and your S's will need more detail in order to come to a decision. And when you're thinking about how concise that you need to be, with a D, you do need to be concise, but less so with sociable I. And then when you think about how friendly you can be with somebody, less so with D's, more so with I's, more so with S's, and less so with C's. But remember too, this is just a bit of a guide, and we've all got elements of these particular personality traits within us. That's a very quick overview of the DISC profiling. The next thing that I wanted to show you with it is a little app which is called Crystal. And the way this works in conjunction with LinkedIn is, I'll just end the slideshow here and just pull up. You can plug it into an extension in Chrome. And so what I just wanted to quickly show you, if I just search here for Luke, my co-host here. Now I've just gone onto his LinkedIn profile, and you'll just see there's a little button over here. I've installed this for Chrome, and I can click on here and view personality. So what it does, it actually does a bit of a personality assessment on Luke. So when I'm dealing with Luke, so if I'm looking to somebody that I want to do some work with, or I want to recruiting for a job or something like that, it's a really useful tool to jump in, have this extension on, and it'll tell me Luke is likely to thrive in an unstructured environment and tends to act on intuition over logical analysis. And a quick tip is to speak with colourful language. Now, how we can then apply this back to DIS, there's all sorts of different profiling systems out there, but they all have the same sort of strain. But you can see that he's a motivator. So he's probably an eye on the DIS profiling, the DIS profiling profiles. So then there's another cool little button here. So we can get advice from this. So if I want to call Luke, it will tell me actually what I need to say and how I need to phrase it, what I do need to do when I'm communicating with Luke, and what I shouldn't do when I'm communicating with Luke. The other thing that this does is if I want to message Luke, it will come up and it will actually give me some insights into how I deal with Luke. It hasn't actually come up here, but it will tell me not to use certain things or to use emojis, whatever it feels Luke will respond to. So there you have it, a very quick overview of a couple of communication tools that you can use in your business or your work, and hopefully you've found them helpful. Thanks.